Hello guys, my name is the Low-End PC Gamer and some of you may know me as my XDA name profile, the Wizard of ROMs, and today I'm gonna be showing you how to replace the kernel in the Boot.img file so that you can flash it manually using the bootloader or Fastboot. So why am I showing you this? Well, let's say you have just cooked your custom kernel in Linux and you want to flash it. Well, you want to do it, but you can't flash the kernel using a recovery, so you need to flash it using the bootloader. And the only way to flash the kernel is to sort of like insert it in a boot.img file so you can flash it manually using Fastboot. So that's why I'm here, and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that you need is you need to have the Android kitchen set up. If you're both on Windows and on Linux, you can set it up easily. I'm not gonna be showing you here. There are millions of guides on YouTube showing you how to set up the kitchen, so just search for them. And alright, so now I have the kitchen opened, and what I need is a ROM meant for my device that is the same Android version as my kernel. So this file Z-image is my custom kernel made in Linux. It's meant for Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, and this ROM is Nexus Flyer. It is meant for my device, and it is also Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. Okay, so how are we gonna start? So first of all, you go to the directory where you have the kitchen installed. In my case is in local disk C and in kitchen, and where it says original update, where it says put ROM here, you just move the ROM over here and you basically extract it using the kitchen, and that's the command setup working folder from ROM. You might be watching this in the future, and the commands, you might be using a newer version of the kitchen and the commands might be different from the commands over here, but anyway, you need to go to set up a working folder from ROM, which in my case is 1, and I click enter, and we're gonna wait. Show supported, no, we're gonna press enter to continue, and it's gonna find my ROM, which we'll find in a minute. It's a bit quicker on Linux because in Windows I'm using Cygwin, sorry, which is basically it's harder for the kitchen to function like this because this is not a proper terminal, it's just an emulator for the terminal. But anyway, it's gonna find my ROM. There we go, it's found my ROM, and I'm gonna type 1, and it's going to extract all of the files from my ROM. And we're just gonna wait for a minute to change. Do you want to change will be named? No, we're not gonna change it, it's gonna be named like this, and it will extract the ROM, so I'll see you when it's finished. Okay, so the kitchen has finished extracting my ROM, and we're gonna go to where it extracted it. So in my case it's kitchen and working blah 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 folder, and particularly this is the file we need, boot.img. So we have to insert this file Z-image in this file to extract it. Okay, but the problem is that this file already has a stock kernel in it, which is built by the developer. So we need to remove the stock kernel and replace it with this kernel, with your custom made kernel. So we're gonna do it by extracting this file. So to extract it, we're gonna go to advanced options, which in my case is 0. And we're gonna go for tools for Boot.img, which is 12. And we're gonna go extract kernel plus RAM disk from boot.img, which is W. Okay, so now it's going to unpack the kernel and the RAM disk from the boot.img file. Again, it is a lot quicker and easier to do this on Linux, so if you have Linux, I recommend you doing it on Linux, because this is not a proper terminal, it is an emulator, but in any case, it is also possible to do it on Windows. It's just a little bit slower and more difficult, but in any case, it's doing it, and it finished extracting the kernel and the RAM disk, and it extracted it in a folder called boot extracted, and we're gonna click it, and as you can see, this is the kernel, the stock kernel from the developer, and this is the RAM disk. So the RAM disk, we're not gonna change anything here, so we're gonna go back, and we're just gonna drag our custom kernel, which we have made it, and replace it with the stock kernel. It says move and replace yes, and there we go. We have just successfully we have just successfully replaced the kernel. But wait, we need to pack it and make this boot extracted at boot.img so we can flash it using the bootloader. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go to the kitchen and we're gonna go to build boot.img from boot extracted folder, which in my case it's B, and we're gonna hit enter. It says ensure your boot extracted folder has the kernel and RAM disk, which is did. The kernel is the image and the RAM disk is the RAM disk. And we're gonna press enter, and we're gonna wait till it'll basically pack the kernel and the RAM disk to a boot.img file, and it's gonna replace that boot.img file with the previous one, with the one that we have extracted before. Okay, so we just skipped to the part. We just fast forwarded, but anyway, so your new kernel, the new boot.img file should be in the working directory, and this is it. This is we've basically just successfully replaced it. All you need to do is flash it using the bootloader, and your custom kernel should be in your device. So thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you thought the video was helpful, share it with your friends, subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you next time.